on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
This episode, we look at Team USA's dominance in hockey at the Olympics. Can the Detroit Pistons fix the perimeter problems and their three-pointing shooting? And a major scandal in MLB threatens the negotiations for the new CBA. All that and more tonight on the Sports Reel podcast.
If it's in the headlines, on the first page or the last, it's fair game here on the Sports Reel podcast.
And we welcome you to the Sports Reel podcast, live on the PFC Entertainment Network, along with Tim Sheridan and Eric Mendal. I'm Jason Clouse, and we are being joined once again by our good friend, not just another sports fan. He really isn't. The one and only, the incomparable Vinny is with us. Vinny, thanks so much for being a part of the show with us here again tonight. Eric, we have a lot to talk about this week. Gentlemen, Tim and Eric, good to see you as always. The reason why Tuesdays were invented is finally here.
Yes, I'm glad to be here with you guys also. Awesome guys.
Eric, how's things, man?
Jason. Oh, yes, I'm alive now. Oh, that's what I needed.
Let me hit that shit.
This is a great, Tuesday. I don't know if they were invented for today because, I like Titty Tuesday better, but this is a close second.
Okay, well,
but I'm doing great. Doing great.
I think he's referencing at one of our new shirts there on the Sports Reel merch store.
No, I
love it.
I just like titties.
Tuesdays was
For titties.
was invented for the Sports Reel, brother. It's actually a pretty badass shirt, Jason. I give you badass props for that. I don't think Eric's seen that shirt yet, but I'm sure at some point in the show we can show him that shirt and plug that new store once again because we have some fucking merchandise out there right now.
I know.
Awesome.
I'm digging all the new merch.
I got a giant head in one of them.
I am too. It looks great, guys. I checked it out. Everything looks awesome.
appreciate that. And you can check out all the newest merchandise over at pfcsportsreel.printify.me. Just a slew of new products and designs and things of this nature. I like, man, if I could make my living doing that and podcasting, I would be one happy dude.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. Absolutely.
Tim, how's things, brother?
Well, this is the real world.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you talking to me? Hold on a second.
I got interrupted, so I'm going to finish mine. But
go ahead.
Winter's back, so it is what it is, but it is February, so I'm getting over that. You know, we got to realize that we had that little stretch of warm weather was nice, but we're still in winter. But it's the last week of February, so looking forward to spring and just happy to be here. A lot to talk about. You know, Sunday was a great day and Saturday not so much, but we'll all get into that.
All right, now it's my turn since you rudely interrupted.
How are you doing? Fuck Tim.
Hold on, no, let me finish what I was saying because I was gonna jump in here and say something, but we had Cody from Catching Up with Cody saying hi in YouTube currently right now. So Cody, what's up, man? How you doing? I can't wait to have you on again. In fact, I don't even think I told Jason this yet, but I did fill Vinny on this. We have Vinny back on March 31st. And joining us that night, also in the studio, we're going to have Cody from Catching Up with Cody in the studio and Vinny on at the same time. So we're doing a big mashup between the three content creators right here. So it's going to be a pretty awesome fucking time. But other than that, I am doing fantastic. It's been a great week. I am no longer dealing with the death plague. My kid is just getting over it right now. My wife hasn't gotten it, so thank God. Yeah, we're feeling pretty good. Life is good. There's snow outside again. Fuck that shit. I got a pretty badass weekend coming up, so I'm looking forward to that. Saturday night, the wife bought me tickets to go down to the Fox Theater and see Bert Kreischer perform. So we're gonna be.
No kidding.
Yeah. So we're gonna be spending the Saturday night down in the city. So Eric's gonna be watching my dogs for me and hanging out at the house, and apparently just
As long as there's cinnamon donuts, I'll be here.
binging Landman for 10, 11 episodes or whatever it is.
Yep.
But yeah, that should be a good time. We're going to be going down to the casino, hanging out down there, going to see Bert Kreischer, headed back to the casino. I'm not going to take the deed to my house because I don't plan on losing that. But as long as I come home, only, maybe a couple hundred down, I'll be happy. But other than that, I am fucking fantastic and I am ready to fucking go. And the first thing I want to bring up, God bless the USA and the U.S. men's hockey team. Oh my God. Let me tell you, I was listening to 97.1 The Ticket because we had something we had to go do that day and I couldn't finish watching it. I watched almost the entire game and then we had to leave because we were under a timeline, and I listened to it on 97.1 The Ticket, and oh my God, like the hype was real. I was bouncing around the freaking vehicle when, was it Jack Hughes that scored that goal at the end there? Holy shit. Like that felt like almost as exciting as like the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl for me.
Oh my God.
Like, Jesus. Like, I was fucking amped. We'll get into that here in a minute, but I just had to put that out there because God bless the USA. God bless the men's hockey team. God bless the women's hockey team. And thank God for the Pope, because if we didn't have a Pope, Canada would have won that shit. But the U.S. has a Pope.
And he's from Chicago. That's right.
It was all about it until then. It's all about
Listen,
it until then.
I don't know how it came across with the radio broadcast, but I actually rewatched the replay of this game last night, so it was fresh in my mind. And I'll be the one. I'll go ahead and be the one to say it. The United States had no shit in business winning that game. The Canadians were all over them in the third period. They it was nothing short of the hand of God that came down. And as long as the Americans could get to overtime and reset that deck, and that's exactly what happened. The Canadians had 4 good chances to put this game away, and for whatever reason they could not. That goaltender that the Americans had was a brick wall, and he deserves all the credit. The credit. Jack Hughes' goal is huge. Make no mistake. Somebody had to score. But if it wasn't for that goaltender, we would be having a different conversation that the Americans and the Canadians split the gold medals between the men and the women's games. But that is not what happened. The Americans dominated in gold medal play. With both men and women winning the gold in the Olympics, probably the highlight of the entire Winter Games. Would you guys agree?
I agree.
Oh, 100%.
100%. That one meant a lot. I mean, granted, there was a lot of highlights to the Winter Olympics. I mean, women's figure skating, we won a gold for the first time in fucking, they said almost like 30 years or something. So like the lockdown there, like that was awesome. But the hockey, especially to take it from Canada, that's all they got, and we took it from them. Like, fuck you guys. We took the only thing you guys got. The 4th most important sport in America, obviously, because baseball and basketball and football are ahead of that usually, and you can tell by ratings wise. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that personally, but ratings wise, that's the 4th most important sport in America, and it's the number 1 in Canada, and we just took that shit. So fuck them. We got a Pope.
Yeah.
Did you watch this game, Eric?
Oh yeah, I watched it. I watched the first period. I missed the last 5. I watched the second, watched the third, and I unfortunately missed overtime. But I wouldn't say by the grace of God the U.S. won, because they won the first period. They won the first period for sure. Second period, Canada was back on top, but then it was our defense and our goaltending that kept us in it. Mainly our goaltender, Connor Helbecka, I think it was. and he kept us in it, and it was. I think the U.S. wanted it more. I think Canada was definitely more talented. I'll say that, and they should have
100%.
definitely had. They should have definitely had one of those goals, especially the one where he Connor blocked with his stick, for sure. That is incredible, but I just think the U.S. wanted it more, and it showed because unfortunately 3-on-3 hockey, it's fast breaks and stuff like that, and that's what happened. They got the puck. It was down our end. They got it out, and next they had numbers, and it was just it was perfect.
Yeah.
You couldn't ask for a better goal out of Jack Hughes. He killed it.
Wound up becoming a 3-on-1 situation there before Hughes slapped that in there. Vinny, I'm sure you can remember the 1980 Miracle on Ice.
The original 6. Now I got it. I'm going, what the fuck? And it came, and it fucking came to me. I'm making coffee, and I'm going, original 6. What the fuck? I said, shit, I remember that. I was 9 years old. The Olympics, obviously. I liked it. To be honest, I liked it better back then because there was not professionals. Yes, there was professionals around the world, other countries maybe. But our guys think about that, as college kids, what they did on that day is forever, ever stamped in their legacy. No one, the way sports are played today with all the professionals, Russia at that time was 15 years in a row they were winning, and these college kids come out of nowhere and win. And like they said, if Russia played United States 9 out of 10, they would have won 9 out of 10. But that day, we got them. We got them that one time, and that's all we needed. And that's what I love about hockey sports. That was the true underdog story. The big Russians versus the Americans on a college level, professionals versus non. And that's what I loved about those Olympics.
They kept talking during the TV broadcast, the NBC broadcast, trying to compare this team with the 1980 team and what happened 46 years ago on the day.
Right.
In Lake Placid. And I appreciate so much. I love the fact that that Team USA for women and men's, both of them won the gold medal. Like, that story alone is awesome. Phenomenal. We as Americans, we kind of need that shit right now. We need good news to talk about.
Yes, we do.
And I do feel like that there was a big contingent of our country that was dialed in on this game on Sunday. But I just don't know if it still had the same kind of feel as the 1980 game did because of the tensions with what was then the Soviet Union. It wasn't just Russia. It was that's a whole different layer of the Cold War and all this other shit. Like, that was a real ass thing.
Right.
And it was a real life Rocky Ivan Drago situation. And I just don't feel like we had that same storyline with this team. I mean, it's going to go down in history, make no mistake about it. But I just don't think we need to be comparing the two teams. They're two different stories here. Would you agree?
I agree. Two different generations, right? Two different generations, for sure. And the way they play, you cannot take anything away from them. Like you said, Jason, they won the gold, the women and the men. That's for the United States. Nobody's going to take that from them. But if you break down everything, like we said, yes, the 1980 Olympic is much more hyped up because of what you just said. The Cold War was going on. We were in cahoots with Russia. We were pissed, like you said, pissed at them. And it was a true Ivan Drago Rocky moment. It really, really was. And you can feel that tension when you were watching that game. You knew you were the underdog. And when you just see them score the goal and win and just burst out and gloves are flying everywhere, it's a first for the United States. We've overcome a barrier with Russia. Okay, there's a lot more to come into play, I think, back then. But I see what you're saying, Jason, with times we live in now with Canada, what's going on, not to make it political, because sports and politics do not mix. Right. And I know exactly what you're saying. We do need some good news, and it was great news. Anytime U.S. wins a gold medal, we obviously have to celebrate it, obviously. But we can put it in our perspective, what we think is better or how it played out. That's up to, like you said, the American people, how they look at it.
Eric, this was one of those games that really had a big fight feel to it. Would you agree?
Well, it was chippy from the first puck drop to the last goal. It was all out. It was hockey. It's what you wanted. There was hitting, there was fighting. Dylan Larkin took a nasty hit and got up. There, Jack Hughes lost a couple teeth and ended up scoring the game-winning goal. It was everything you wanted in a hockey game. And for the U.S. to get rid of that 5-on-3 in their own zone, and our own Dylan Larkin took that face off and got us out. And for us to get that 5-on-3 was huge. That was huge in that moment. Yeah, it felt like the gold medal game. It's everything you wanted in that game. It felt like a Game 7 Stanley Cup on the line, and it was everything you'd want. The only thing I kind of feel bad for is kind of Connor McDavid, because now he's lost 2 Stanley Cup Game 7s, and now he's lost the gold medal.
Yeah.
And one of the guys from the Florida Panthers is a cause of that. So that dude is just that dude's kryptonite. But I will say, them bringing out Johnny Hockey's jersey and his kids for the photograph and all that.
Yes.
That's what sport's about. That's what it's about. Because he should have been on that team. He should have got that gold medal. And it's tragic what happened to him, but that's what sports is about. That they didn't even think twice about doing it. Pretty much after the game was over and the celebration was done, they got that jersey, skating it around, went and got his kids for a picture. They're going to remember that the rest of their life, but absolutely, that's just what sports is about. It brought them together, and they'll always remember that. Those kids will, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point, Eric. That it does. Sports do bring people together. Mm-hmm. In the worst times, like you're saying, in the worst times.
Yeah, for him and his brother.
And him and his brother's the family. I mean, that's wonderful. But Eric, a question for you: How did you feel about the 1980 game compared to just what we just saw on Sunday? What did you see a difference of in your eyes?
I felt like the Americans this time had more of a chip on their shoulder. I'd say because the Americans were counted out so much in the 1981, the Miracle on Ice, and the Miracle on Ice wasn't the gold medal game. They had to beat them to get to the gold medal game, but still,
people forget that part.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
That was not the gold medal game. They had to beat them to get to the gold medal game. So in this one, I feel like I wouldn't say they had more to it, even though I just did, because that was. They're like, oh, no way they can beat Russia. No, Soviet Unions, they're so experienced, blah, 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 blah. But anyone can be beaten at any given day. As long as you go out there and play your game, what the Americans did, that's what all matters. Like Jason said, we shouldn't have won that game. In reality, you look at it on numbers, we shouldn't have. On paper and all that, we should not have, because we got outplayed and all that. But it's the luck of the bounce of the puck and the fast break and everything. And our goaltending, Connor Hellebuck's, he phenomenal. And the fact that Michigan is hockey goes through Michigan now.
Right.
Hockey is the Michigan State. The girl that got the gold medal for women's was from Michigan. There was 4 Michigan players or 4 Michigan alumni or people from Michigan on the ice for Team USA when they won and all that. Michigan is the hockey state now. And
hockey.
Yeah, we got Michigan State, Western won it last year. They're still in it. That when they started that Little Caesars back in the 70s and all that, they knew what they were doing. Come here to get developed. And that's what some of the players have said. I can't remember. I think someone was born in Florida, but came up here to get developed because they knew they have that such good farming system.
Right.
So
Right.
sorry to get a little bit off track on that, but
no, it's good to listen.
I would say the Miracle on Ice still, just because this one will never be taken away because, men's and women won it. And we did beat Canada. Like Tim said, that's all they had. And that's just kind of true. But I think they just wanted it more this year. But the Miracle on Ice, you always think of that no matter what. You're always going to. What's going to compare to this one is them winning it, beating them in overtime, which I had a very good feeling was going to happen. But then bringing Johnny Hockey's jersey on and his kids on, that's what's going to stick out to that one.
Sometimes the sports gods, they come into play. They absolutely, in every sport, you go, how is that possible? Right? Sometimes the sports gods have a lot to say about it.
Because, a lot of those players, the writers will write how our goaltender or the goaltender of the USA couldn't win the big games, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. Well, it proved them wrong.
Yes.
By, giving probably the best performance he could for the gold medal game and showed everyone he even said, they can keep writing those articles. I'm just going to keep performing. And he has 100%.
Right.
But what kind of makes me wonder is all the Hughes brothers. There's 3 Hughes brothers, all from Michigan. You got a lot of these Michigan players. Are they eventually going to want to come home and put on that, that wing?
Right.
They eventually going to want to put on that logo that they've watched up, grow up watching, want to come home and play for them.
That's true. They're already teammates, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not teammates. Just they're going to want to come home and represent their state. They want to be a Red Wing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because there's such a legacy here. The original 6 does matter. So I that to me is like, are they going to want to come home and help the Wings get another cup?
Yeah, that's a good.
Because we're called Hockey Town for a reason, and we're not
guys
a bad organization at all.
Where I am, Boston College, they're pretty good in hockey.
Yep, Boston College is pretty good in hockey.
Yeah, that's what I always hear from from Connecticut over here. Boston College and this and that. They recruit pretty well and they compete well. Yeah, so that's what I just hear.
Yep.
And so yeah, no, I mean, in generally, I enjoy the Winter Olympics better than the summer. You know what? It was something on, guys. To watch the skiing, the bobsled, the skeleton, curling. I'm not into curling. I never, really watched it too much. But hell, there was something on. How could you not be? What is the goal for that?
I don't care. I don't want to understand the goal of it. I just like watching.
They're choking their chicken.
Exactly. That's why it's fun. I've said this a million times, Benny. They just run. They're yelling at each other like, "Swip, swip, swip." Like I don't know what they're doing, but I have no idea, and I don't want to know the rules. Somebody tried to explain to me the rules, and I'm like, I don't want to know. As long as I have cold beer, I can watch this shit all day long. Like that's all that I care about.
It's like the wind. They're getting the friction of the wind to move the damn thing.
Yeah.
No, you got to be in shape. Yes, for all these Olympic sports, but that one, I think you get most of the men get their practice when they're young kids.
Teenage years.
I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
There you go.
I got you.
You got it.
Was there any other highlights during the Olympic Games that you guys resonated with, or they stand out? I mean, we've spent
Lindsey Vaughn. I felt bad for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's a a given, of course, but they said she almost lost her leg.
Mm-hmm.
I just read that yesterday. They said they almost couldn't save the leg, and I'm sure she'll be out there. How old is she now? She's
40, I think.
Yeah,
40.
so she's done. She'll be done.
Yeah, this will be her last. This was her last Olympics, and is why she decided to go out there with a torn ACL and try to make that run, because it was her last chance. It was her last run. And I give her all the props in the world for, going out there and doing that, because she could have easily just, packed it up and went home and said, I can't compete. But she said, this is my last time. Fuck it. I'm going for it. It's either going to work out real well or it's not going to work out at all. And she left it all the way out there on that hill. And, bless her for even trying. She's a competitor and she's an athlete, and all the props in the world to her.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, imagine 4 years, you're training 4 years and that shit happens, like you said, on the ACL, and this is your last run, and the way it ended, we don't know how she feels. We can imagine. But
oh, I know. I've torn my ACL. Jason was there. I did it in his ring.
I'm not talking about just the ACL. I'm talking about the whole general thing that she had to,
Very true.
She almost lost her leg. This was her last run, training for 4 years, and this is how it ended up. And she, like you said, she's such a great athlete. She's going to go down as one of the best, if not the best anyway, in what she does.
That's what I wanted to make mention of. Hi, Lori, by the way. I just seen your thing pop up in the comments. Lindsey Vonn, I've heard both sides of this. Like, it was very courageous and very heroic, and she wanted to put it all out there. And then on the flip side of that, you've got the naysayers. What was she thinking? What a stupid move, blah, blah, blah. The fact of the matter is Lindsey Vonn is going to go down as one of the most popular Olympians in American history, period.
Absolutely.
She became the face of a sport that desperately needed a representative. Her
Yes.
grit, her determination, and it doesn't hurt the fact that she's pretty easy on the eyes. You know what I mean? Like, that is
Oh, yeah.
what skiing needed in terms of a front and center spokesperson.
The whole
Uh,
package.
I feel terrible that this
Yeah.
happened with her. And by the time the next Winter Games rolls around, she's going to be looking at, around 44 years old. I just, man, if she was to attempt it, and
That's what I
knowing
was going to say. What do you think, Jason? You think, that competitiveness, you want to be out there.
she does not want to go out like that.
That's exactly.
And if there's any way, shape, or form, if they have to put steel rods in her legs
Yep.
to stabilize them or whatever, she's going to find a way to at least do something on a minimal scale so that she's upright for her
Yes.
last appearance in the Olympics. That's my opinion, just based on how she has presented herself.
Oh, I agree with you. Why would you want to go out like that? That's a great point. Going out like that, want to be remembered. Like you said, she's going to go down as the best of all time in her sport. I agree. When you're an athlete, we were all athletes. You don't want to be pulled from a game. You want to go. You want to go. And she's thinking right now, damn, man. Like Jason said, I went out like that. Not meaning to do it, obviously, but I bet she's got that in her head. In the next 4 years, I might give it a try. I just might give that competitive, go for it.
She'll at least try to qualify, right? And if she
Right.
doesn't qualify, then at least she could say she tried and she was, there's nothing. She literally left it all out there. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And nobody can ever take that away from her.
No. She's been so good, like you said, so good for the Olympics that we needed, and she's the one. And this Winter Olympics, like I said, I don't know about you guys, but I think this was a damn very, minus the win, of course, the hockey, of course, I'm saying. This was one of the better Winter Olympics I've seen in a while, I think.
I can agree with that. And it was actually America, the U.S., the United States, set a record for the most gold medals in its history at the Winter Olympics, this Winter Olympics, with 12. Their previous was 10, I think, at Lake Placid. So this was the highest amount of gold medals America has ever won at the Olympics. So it was a very good Olympics for America. They finished second medal count behind Norway, which Norway, I mean, it's their winner all year round. pretty
Yes.
much. So like they're the winter Olympic capital of the world right there. So it's hard to compete with them. You know, we get at least half the year of non-winter,
Right.
or 3/4 of the year. They got winter all year round. So, but yeah, they set a record. It was a really good Winter Olympics for the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, like I said, it's enjoyable. It's only every 4 years. I'm not a big fan of the Summer Olympics. I watch them, but I like the Winter Olympics better.
See,
That's
I'm tossed up because there's so many sports in the Summer Olympics that I really like. I mean, whether or not obviously I'm a big golf fan, so you got golf in the Summer Olympics.
right.
You got table tennis. I mean, I don't understand the rules of that game either, besides you hit that damn thing. But those guys are competitive as shit. Like you don't even realize how like competitive table tennis can get. Ping pong, like holy shit. But you got basketball. There's a bunch of sports, wrestling. I mean, it goes on. And even my wife will sit there and watch gymnastics all day long. Like the gymnastics is crazy. Like I'll even watch it with her. Like
Yes.
they are nuts. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. When they get on the, what is it? The rings.
Oh, the rings. Yeah.
The
yeah,
rings
yeah.
too, the men, all that. Oh my gosh. You need some
Talk about
strength for that.
athletes. Yeah, talk about athletes. But yeah, Summer Olympics have more of your mainstay sports. You know what I mean? You got basketball, golf, you know, and this year or this next one, 2 years from now, they're gonna have flag football, which is gonna be kind of funny. I saw somebody had posted about that on TikTok here a couple days ago, and I had replied to one of the things that they said. It's going to be hilarious because I think they're going to allow NFL players to play in this thing. And with NFL players playing, like, how is this going to go with all these other countries in the world? You know what I mean? Because the NFL is just majority just the United States. So
Right.
could you imagine, like, I'm not saying Tyreek Hill will be healthy by then, but a Tyreek Hill out there just breaking away from some of these people, like it's going to be hilarious to watch. Like I'm really looking forward to it because I want to see how some of these other countries match up to our NFL guys when it comes to flag football.
Well, that leads up to my question for all you guys. Would you rather have the Olympics without professionals and have the kids, the college kids and yes, or would you rather have the professionals? What would you guys rather have, you think?
Eric,
If
I'll
you
let
were to
you
have to make that decision today, what would you say?
I'd say have the professionals in it. You know, you play this sport all your life, and why are you going to get told no when you're, you know, a professional athlete in the NHL or NBA when in college you could go play?
I look at it a bit different way.
Okay.
I liked it better when it was the college kids. I like to see them get a chance and to
Yeah.
make something of themselves. Professionals are already professionals. They're gonna be paid, right? These young kids, they're not yet, and they want to be recognized. And
College
to them,
kids are
there's a
getting
big
paid
stage.
now. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, in the Olympics, yes, you start to get paid and stuff. But as far as professional teams, like baseball, basketball, football, and stuff like that, that's what I'm trying to get at. I like to see opportunities
Yeah.
for younger men and women to come up like that. I think that's a better story to tell than just to say we had a bunch of professionals go out there and beat them. That's just my take, how I would like to see it. I think you would see not better competition because professionals is a top competition, but you would see good play, and you would
Yeah.
see what the other countries have to offer without their professionals. That's all I'm saying.
No, I can feel that both ways. I think, most sports, that's kind of what we see anyways, is amateurs, they're not professionals. As you get into some of the major sports now, whether it's hockey or basketball, I think, it would be hard now because there's so much, the leagues are so intertwined between nations now. I mean, hockey, you look at each country has legitimate professional players that play for them now that make up these teams now. Same thing in basketball now. I mean, let's talk about Europe and how much European players have had an influence in the NBA over the last like 10 years. So it would be hard at this point, I think, to distinguish between that. And I think it was originally brought on, to kind of offset some of that, because back then you didn't see as many of the European players that, were obviously that level of talent, and they were going against our college kids. So I think that's why the NBA was the first one to break through and send some of the pro players to the Olympics. And it was kind of offset the talent that they had to play in some of the these European countries and stuff like that. That now we're seeing those players come to the NBA, but back then we didn't. Hockey was one of the first ones to bring, some of these players over from other countries, especially Russia. I mean, we had the Russian Five here in Detroit, and that was one hell of a documentary that I watched on the Russian Five, which they pretty much kind of just stole those players from Russia. And they did you ever watch that documentary on the Russian Five, any?
I did not. That's what I was going to ask you. I will definitely look into that. What is it? So what's the backstory on it?
Jason, can you fill this in? Because I know you've watched this.
This is the story of how the Detroit Red Wings management cut a deal with Russian officials to more or less smuggle players into the United States that we now know as the Russian Five. And all of the politics and all of the goings on behind the scenes that nobody really knew about, or how these players became part of the NHL, specifically part of the Detroit Red Wings. It's on, I think it's on Netflix or Tubi, one of the two.
I think Netflix had it at one point.
It is called The Russian Five.
The Russian Five. Mark that down.
You really should check it out. It is a tremendous, it is. The way they did it, and Tim, you'll back me up on this with their characterizations and stuff like this. Like, it felt like I was watching a movie. It didn't feel like real life. Like
Correct.
This was a real life. I felt like I was watching not like a James Bond movie, but something like a Kill Bill.
It was kind of
right,
along
an
those
intense,
lines.
kind of intense.
Well, yeah, especially with Fedorov, because he was doing something else, and they were like, "You're not going to leave the country now. Like, you're staying here with us." You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
He deserted his country to just stay here and then play for the Red Wings. Like, it was a crazy fucking story about how it all happened and stuff like that. And I want to say it was Netflix, because I do have to give Netflix credit when it comes to sports documentaries. They have some of the best. The way that they film them and they lay them out and everything else, like they produce them, like they are the best documentaries that come out of Netflix.
Well, let me tell you this real quick. That was not a Netflix production. That was actually released in movie theaters for a week the year it came out. Like, they made a big damn deal out of it. Yeah, it was an independent filmmaker. Wow. Netflix was the first to pick up the streaming rights to it, but I believe Tubi or Pluto TV, either one of those. It's one of the free apps. They got the secondary rights to it. So, but I would check out Netflix first. But I mean, regardless, it is worth a watch. It is really incredible.
I'll definitely look into it. And like you said, with the documentaries, Amazon made actually pretty good ones on on wrestling. Jason, I forgot the guy's name that passed away, but they do really good ones. I would suggest that on Amazon. Pop on and see those two. They're great documentaries. But no, I will check that out. I will definitely check that out.
Well, since we're already talking about the Detroit Red Wings, let's go ahead and make the transition to the Red Wings, Eric. After a seemingly pretty long break here with the Olympics, the Detroit Red Wings are going to be back in action this week. They will start on Thursday in Ottawa to play the Senators. Saturday, they will travel over to Carolina to play the Hurricanes, and then Monday, they will be in Nashville to play the Predators. All three games on the road here this week. What do the Red Wings need to do to not stumble out of the gate after this long layoff?
Well, the only one that wasn't laid off was Dylan Larkin. He played until Sunday. So, hopefully this break helped them out. Hopefully people got the rest they needed, and hopefully they've been still practicing and training. I believe, they could practice still. I'm not sure. I don't know how that goes. Maybe it is just, you get a long break and you just, stay in shape while you can. But You just need to come out and play the way you were playing before. You need to play physical hockey. You need to just, go out there and win. Go out there and, play your game. And we've been playing Ottawa a lot, and that's been a back and forth series with us.
Really has been.
So,
Really
we'll see how it goes. And their captain was playing for Team USA too. So, some people are going to be a little bit, maybe beat up from the Olympics or still, in the swing of things, or, the teams are going to pick right back up where they left off and still stay in hockey shape and be ready to roll. But, you got two big games in the East against Ottawa and the Hurricanes. So you got to be ready for those. And you can't take Nashville, for granted, because they're still a good team.
And have the Hurricanes kind of had our number?
Hurricanes have definitely been a thorn in our ass this year.
The Hurricanes are currently sitting in the number 2 spot in the Eastern Conference. As we come out of the Olympic break,
We were tied for third with Montreal.
We are tied for actually second with Montreal.
Oh, okay.
Carolina and Tampa Bay are tied for first.
Oh, wow.
Each with 78 points. Red Wings and Montreal with 72. Ottawa, you mentioned them. It's been a back and forth type of scenario with the Senators. I was kind of hoping that this was not going to be the team that they were going to be playing coming out of the gate, because Ottawa shows up against the Red Wings. In fact, with this stretch, it was the Hurricanes that I was most worried about. Just, they are a very good team that not a lot of people are paying attention to right yet.
Yep.
They keep waiting for the bottom to fall out, but history has shown when the Hurricanes are on point, they are very hard to beat. Very hard to beat.
Yeah, no, they're definitely a team you got to look out for. They've got some cups under their belt, and they're a very physical team, and they're quick, and they got good goaltending. So you got to really be on your Q's and A's when you're playing them. But same with Ottawa. It's just, you got to get back in the swing of things. Larkin's been playing, so he should be okay. Just got to see how you come out. Hopefully you don't come out flat. Hopefully our goaltending's still in good shape. Hopefully we start our one good goalie that's been killing it the last, couple weeks for us. So we come out on a win. I'd say you at least got to get 4 points. At least got to get 4 points coming out of this. So even if you get a win and you go to, 2 overtimes, that's 4 points right there. But I'd like to see him go 2-1 at least. Maybe drop one to Ottawa, unfortunately, but yeah, I go 2-1.
But that's a good point you made, though. You don't know how they're going to react when they come out, because they had 2 weeks off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, they're professionals.
2.5 weeks, I think.
2.5 weeks. So just like any sport, you don't know when you have that. If you have a first round bye, same thing, kind of like that, and you don't know how they're going to come out after an all-star break or this and that. They could be flat. They could come out buck wild or just mediocre. You don't know until until they play the game.
Yeah, you just gotta see how everyone meshes coming out.
To me, the two sports, I don't know if you guys feel that way. You guys are big hockey fans, which is cool. And hockey and basketball, they go way too long. Now, I can see hockey, much physical, more sport than basketball. They go all the way to June, basketball. You know what I mean? That's a very long, from October, while, baseball season obviously is 162 games. I'm just trying to say, can't they, kind of shorten it a little bit? I know it's a physical game. Baseball, you're out there every day. But doesn't it seem kind of funny from October to basically summer and then they only have a few months off and then right back at it again. So, if you want to talk about salaries, I think hockey should get, a little bit more higher salaries.
Yeah, they should. They definitely should. They're definitely the lowest team getting paid, or lowest, ones getting paid, but
they're taking the hits.
For them, it's not about the money. It's about the glory. It's all about playing. Right. Yeah. Hockey players are a different breed. Yeah, people getting knocked out and then bringing, back up. They're like, let me go back in. You got people losing teeth. You got, people taking slap shots to the face and they go get stitched up and they're back on the ice. They don't care. They just want to win. It's the love of the game.
Like you said, I had a cousin that played really well, so I was there. I went to a few Rangers games around here. Let me tell you, seeing it live, I love it. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
a live game. Oh my God, that the guys they're flying around, hitting each other. I mean, you can't get better than that. And where I live, they had it was a minor league team in Bridgeport from me. It was only like 20 minutes away, and they took them away from us. I forgot what they were called. You guys probably would know the names. I would go there and see them, and same thing. Great to see. It was a minor league system, but now between the professionals and the minors. I liked it.
How long have you been in Connecticut?
All my life, 52 years almost.
So you remember the Hartford Whalers?
Yeah, absolutely.
So to explain to me, because I've never really talked to anybody from Connecticut about this. Was that as big of a deal losing the Whalers as what Montreal experienced when they lost the Expos?
Not as much. Where I am, I'm 20 minutes from New York. If you go up north more, yes, they were. Yes, absolutely. So about an hour and a half from where I live, that's where you're going to Hockey Town, basically.
Gotcha.
So up there, more of a fit than down here. But yes, they didn't want to see the Whalers go. They were on television. I used to see them. No, it was a big thing here. They did not want them to go. They wanted to keep them in Connecticut, in Hartford, and they pulled them apart. And like you said, they left, and that didn't go over well. Was it a big uproar? Kind of. Not as big as what you were talking about before, but it was big. Yes.
I was just curious.
I mean, I can't go into so much detail, Jason, because I'm not a huge hockey fan. I wasn't, I pay attention, but obviously I'm like, the Whalers are going? Really? And you still see merch out there with the Whalers hat and stuff. I see it down there, and it was nice because you could go right to professional game. It wasn't that long, an hour from me. So it was good, but it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And
no, go ahead.
No, all these not just teams and stadiums. They're renaming the stadiums. They're renaming everything. Everything is being changed. Now, not to get off subject, but now you heard the Bears want to go to Illinois. They're in Illinois, but Indiana. I'm sorry, Indiana.
Yep, you're fine.
There's no true loyalty. You know what I mean? Like, why are you going to take the Chicago Bears and no, leave it alone. Just like with any sport, hockey, the Whalers were doing fine in Hartford. Nope. You get somebody with big money and they got big plans for them. I'm going to make a stadium with this and this so we can, hold concerts and do that. It's become not a joke, but just a disdain on general sports to me. It really is.
Yeah. Listen, I could spend hours talking about this aspect of it because I'm right there with you.
Right.
There's the corporate greed and the sponsorship money and all this other bullshit has really taken a lot of the heart out of these sports, out of even the venues. We here in Michigan, we had such a love affair with Tiger Stadium. And the history that it had. Eric backed me up on this. At Michigan and Trumbull, like the greatest baseball players of all time played on that field. Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth. I can go right on down the line. In the hockey sense, it was the Olympia. But these buildings either are no longer there, which is the case for Tiger Stadium and the Olympia, or if they are there, they're not called the same thing that it's now some sort of corporate.com bullshit, and it's stupid. Right. It just makes so much out of it. I don't know, man. It's just crazy.
It's tough, like you said. I'm a Mets fan. Went from Shea Stadium to Citi Field.
Yeah.
No. Like you said, Jason, you get used to something. Since I was a kid, it was Shea Stadium. Well, my father and I, Shea Stadium. You knew the place. It was big. It was open. Now they want to put a casino. Did you know that, Jason? They want to put a casino in the same spot as City Field right there. You will never get, why? Exactly. The ownership wants to do that. He's the richest in baseball, Cohen. And now, to me, you're making a mockery. You've got City Field, and literally not even a mile away, you're putting right in the parking lot. So where's the parking going to be? Where you're going to have to. It's a turnoff, and you guys know how much it is to go to one of these games.
For
Too
sure.
much. Too much.
We'll get to more baseball here later on in the program, but before we do that, let's switch our focus over to the National Basketball Association, where the Detroit Pistons continue their dominance in the Eastern Conference. Last week's results saw a 126-111 win over the New York Knicks. Tim, the Pistons have dominated the New York Knicks this season, coming after, the Knicks eliminated them from the playoffs last year. Is this becoming a full-blown rivalry in your view?
It's starting to get there, but the Pistons are on the better side of that rivalry right now because we've owned the Knicks this season so far, and I've been loving every minute of it. So suck it, Zach.
Oh man! All right, Pistons 126-110 winners over the Chicago Bulls on Saturday, but they did drop one. Tim called this. Dropped one to the San Antonio Spurs, 114-103.
But I do have to say, even though losing that game, the Pistons were showing some tenacity in that game that I really liked. They were playing some old school rough basketball in that game, and I was enjoying watching it. Like it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Bad Boys being back playing in that game. Unfortunately, I saw a lot of flopping, which makes it really hard to watch basketball these days with these damn floppers. Fuck. Flopping is ruining the fucking game. It's so hard to watch now when you got fucking people just flopping all over the place. It's like, knock that shit off. The dude barely touched you and you just launched yourself across the fucking court. Fucking stop it. Like, it's the ref's fault. If the refs stop calling fouls on this blatant ass flopping shit, they would stop doing this shit. It's getting ridiculous. So
I agree.
I'm pleading with you. If you see something that is that blatant, that is just absolute bullshit, stop calling it. And basketball can get back to basketball because that shit's ridiculous.
It's too soft. It is too soft. Like you said, you got blown away because you actually saw a little bit of basketball, old fashioned. I mean, it's crazy. They're too soft. Load management. Basketball is going in a whole different direction that I do not like we talked last time on it. Whole different direction.
Yeah, it is. And the only reason why I'm so invested in basketball, over these last two seasons is because the Pistons are so fucking good. And right now, Cade Cunningham is having an MVP caliber year, and I am here for it. You know what I mean? This guy is having a career year, and I could see the Pistons, just like Chase had called. I mean, we're probably talking 8 weeks ago now. I think the Pistons can go all the way and win the championship this year. It's reminiscent of the Bad Boys, or even, that 2004 team, or was it 2003, 2004? It was 2004. Yeah. That team, I'm starting to get those feels from this team here right now. And for Detroit sports, basketball is back currently because the Pistons are undeniably the best team in the NBA right now, even with that loss. You know what I mean? And I call that, you're going to lose sometimes. It's a long season, but I think that puts them at 13 or 14 losses for the year.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah,
they're
14. Yeah, what's the current record?
42 and 14.
Yeah, 42 and 14.
Wow.
They're the best team in basketball. They are absolutely incredible. And if you're a Detroit sports fan, if you're not following the Pistons, you are an absolute fool right now, because this is, Detroit sports. I said this last week. Detroit sports is nothing to be trifled with right now because all the teams are really good. I know the Lions didn't show it last year, you know, they did, but they didn't. They didn't have the winning record, but they had a team. Things just didn't fall right. You know what I mean? But right now, I mean, the Pistons are rolling. The Red Wings are right there. You know what I mean? And I think they can do it. And I didn't get to finish up. You guys finished hockey while I was upstairs taking care of some business. But like, you know, our captain's coming back with the gold medal, and hopefully that, you know, riles these guys up to keep pushing. But right now, and then the Tigers, I mean, we got the two best left-handed pitchers in baseball right now. Like, this is not a town to fuck with when it comes to sports. Like, this is an incredible sports town. But the Pistons right now, watch them. This is a dangerous team. I've been enjoying them. They showed their level of tenacity against the Spurs, and I was there to watch it. And they're showing that physicality, and it's a lot of fun to watch right now. You know, it's bringing basketball back. They're playing basketball the way it's meant to be played, not with this flopping bullshit that we're used to seeing. Bring that physicality back. You know, they're the bad boys. They got grit. Let's fucking roll. I'm ready for this. Let's take this all the way to the championship this year.
You know what, Tim? I'm actually going to take you up on that. I'm going to watch a Pistons game. And I'm totally honest with you guys. Like I told you, I was a huge basketball fan all the way up until about 2008, 9, when all this shit started, when they started to play. I haven't watched the game since. But I was into it is just as what you're talking about. Well, my Lakers never missed a game. And that is, blame it on me. I just gave up on it because I just didn't like the play. But I like what you're saying, Tim. You're saying that
Wait a minute. Did you say you were a Lakers fan?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. Oh, Jason.
Oh, he shut his door too. He's done. All right. So Jason has left the podcast. No, it's all right, because when you're talking about being a Lakers fan, we're talking about Kobe times and Shaq times and stuff like that. And Kobe's one of the greatest of all time. I don't understand why Kobe doesn't get that props enough for being one of the GOATs. You know what I mean? Like, people are putting LeBron up there with Jordan. I'm like, I think it's Jordan and Kobe, to be honest. To be honest, like, fuck LeBron. Like, Kobe was way more impactful of a player than what I think LeBron was. LeBron's jumped teams a million fucking times. Kobe spent his whole career there and won multiple championships. Like, Kobe should be up there next to Jordan. And I got to give you credit. You stopped in 09. The Lakers were impressive back then. And then you go back to, I mean, you've been around for a while. You came up in the time of the Magic Johnson era and stuff like that. Like, that was a Lakers team. Like, big props to that team. You know, it's, you know, I mean, I was back then, I was a Bulls fan. You know what I mean? I was a Jordan guy all the way. Like, I still have Jordan hanging on my wall in here, greatest of all time.
Oh, Jordan.
Undeniably. But, you know, like, Jason's back now, so obviously he went out and had a little cry. He feels better. He's still wiping his eyes. Like, a few tears rolled from his eyes as soon as you told him that you were a Lakers fan.
That's one strike.
It's all right. He's just reeling because last week was his birthday and nobody got him a really special present.
God damn it. No, it was not.
Yes.
No, it was not.
It was.
Guys,
you just didn't want to tell us.
What?
Not true.
Oh my God. Yeah, no. Yeah, I was, you know, I was a big Laker fan. I love you, Jason. You know that. What am I going to do?
I love you too, Vinny, but that's fine. Let's look at this week's action for the Pistons. Tomorrow, Wednesday, they will be hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder, so it gets no easier. And then Friday, they will be home against Cleveland. Sunday,
James Harden. They've been turning it around.
Sunday, they will be in Orlando to play the Magic, and then coming back to Cleveland to play the Cavaliers. So they got Cleveland twice this week. This is going to be a big showdown, especially within the division. But Oklahoma City Thunder coming off of the loss with San Antonio. How crucial is it to bounce back in this game against a team the caliber of the Thunder here, Eric?
Well, you just went against probably the second best team in the West, and that was the Spurs. And you played a hell of a game. You couldn't get it going long enough to get a good enough lead. The Thunder, you gotta. I think they can beat the Thunder easier. I think the team to beat is going to be the Spurs with what's his name? I can't pronounce his name. What's his name? Number one on the team. Yeah, Wembanyama. Yeah, he's phenomenal. He's so long and lengthy, and what the Pistons like to do is score in the paint, and he can defend that so well. That's the problem with him. I think you're going to be okay against the Thunder. You got Cleveland, which with Harden they're turning around, so but it's Cleveland and Detroit. So that'll be a good game, but I think Detroit's got the upper hand there. And you can't count out the Magic, and then you got to go to Cleveland. I say you can at least go 3-1. 3-1. I think you'll drop one to Cleveland eventually. I think maybe at Cleveland.
I was going to say, do you split it with Cleveland?
I think you're going to split it with Cleveland. You'll beat the Thunder and you'll beat the Magic. In reality, if you can, the one I'm worried about is the one at Cleveland. If you can win, at home against Cleveland, you might have that upper hand.
I'm going to say right now, I think this week it's going to be a 3-1 week. I think they split with Cleveland. I think they beat the Thunder, and I can't remember who else they face this week. Orlando. I think they beat Orlando. So I think 3-1, and I think they split with Cleveland. But I think a bounce back win after this loss against the Spurs against OKC, kind of to show their dominance. It's a must win against OKC. I shouldn't say a must win because obviously they're doing really well, but I think they're a caliber of a team that's gonna be able to beat OKC. And I said this last week when we went over this. I thought this was gonna be a win, and I think they split with Cleveland. Cleveland's been on a tear since Harden got traded over there. They've been doing really well, so I would feel really good at 3-1 this week. Now, if they could go 4-0, I'd feel even better, but really good would be a 3-1. I don't want to see a 2-2 week this week. They need to come out after the All-Star break and hit 3-1 this week. I know they had some wins last week. They went 2-1 last week, but we need to keep on carrying that into a 3-1 week.
Well, just to kind of put the week in perspective for those who may not follow that closely, both Orlando and Oklahoma City are on top of their respective in their divisions, and Cleveland obviously is right behind the Pistons in the Central. So, on paper, this is going to be a tough week for them. I too am hoping for a 3-1 week, but I'm more leaning towards a 2-2 week. They will split with Cleveland, but I think they will actually drop to Oklahoma City for some reason. I just have a bad feeling about it. Oklahoma City is on fire right now, and especially they have a considerable lead in their division as well, and sitting on top of their conference. But this is what makes entertaining basketball. And Tim, you said something very interesting. You've only been paying attention to the NBA steadily for the last few years, and the only reason why any of us are really paying attention to them is because the Detroit Pistons are good right now.
Correct.
Would we be as focused right now if the Pistons weren't doing what they are? Probably not, right?
Oh, well, probably. And I have to, be honest with everybody a little bit. Also, one of the reasons why I'm so into them is because we do this podcast. So we have to, and we cover,
and it's a Detroit team.
Our biggest content thing is Detroit teams. We're a Michigan-based podcast, so we're going to cover a lot of the Michigan-based teams. So it's a Detroit-based team. So I would probably be covering them anyways, but the hype is real in the fact that, they are very good. So there is a lot of people out there right now that are starting to follow this team because they are good right now. And if they weren't good, they probably wouldn't be following them, to be honest, because the NBA is kind of at a downfall with the way that the play is going these days. It's not as popular as it used to be. And I made a comment earlier, and I might have to take it back a little bit, where they said it's the fourth most watched team or game or sport in America. I think it might be switching places with hockey here pretty soon.
What, basketball?
Basketball. Yeah, I think basketball might be the least watched sport in America here pretty soon if they don't turn their shit around. But right now in Michigan in general, basketball is hot because our Pistons are so good. I mean, any state where your team is good, the sport's going to be hot. But I'd be following regardless because of this podcast.
Well, and it helps that you have Michigan State. That's a staple basketball team this time of year. And you have Michigan doing so good, too. So you got a lot of basketball going on in the state of Michigan, plus the Pistons and all that. So, yeah, basketball is definitely being watched more in this state. And I would say I feel like basketball gets watched more in March. I feel like a lot of people like that tournament. And that's one of my favorite things to watch is March Madness. Watch as much as I can.
Speaking of that, let's transition right into the college basketball because we can wrap up the NBA real quick, move into them because Michigan did suffer its second loss this week against Duke.
It did. That was a hell of a game, though. I didn't get to watch it, but what I...
Hold on. They played really well.
They did. And what I heard is it felt like a Final Four game. So I'm like right there already says what the preview of the national championship might be. If they don't have to face each other to get to the national championship, that's what it might be. And that would be one hell of a national championship, and that'd be one hell of a way for I don't know, does Michigan play Duke again? I don't think so.
I don't think so unless they meet in the tournament.
Yeah, no, I think it's Big Ten teams throughout the rest of it because March is freaking Sunday, so
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think they play them again. They're gonna have the Big Ten tournament soon. So yeah, the next time they can see Duke is in the national championship. They don't have to play them in the Final Four or the Sweet 16, something like that. But more than likely, Duke and Michigan will be number 1 seed. So I don't think they're gonna see each other until at least the Final Four.
Who's the Cinderella, you think?
Michigan
Before
State.
we even get Michigan State.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that too.
They're up and down, but Izzo's getting them ready to go and all that. And
he's a
I
good
think
coach, Izzo.
He's a phenomenal coach. And my hat's off to Tom Izzo and Michigan State all the time. But I think they're the Cinderella team. I think they can squeeze in because they're definitely better than what their record shows.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of. Yeah, that's the one that worries me right now, and I just have this weird feeling. And congrats to Jason because I know this is going to make him happy that I'll admit this, even though eventually here he's going to have to wear the amazing blue beard and do the whole shenanigans. But I think Michigan State is the sleeper this year, to be honest. I'm sure you just got my text there, Jason, so that's what you're kind of looking into.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything we're going to be able to do about that currently. So we just got to live with it. But yeah, I think Michigan State is the team that is the sleeper currently, and I don't want to admit that because I'm go blue all the way, Michigan all the way. But that team is dangerous, and they played Michigan very hard the last time. And I mean, is there a possibility of a Michigan State national championship coming up?
It did.
No, they're both in the Big Ten, so that. No, they could do it. Yeah, they could work out.
They could be on either side of the bracket. It could happen. It's always a possibility.
Yeah.
That the state of Michigan would go nuts. That'd be fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
But that would be
That would be something to see. Now that would be a first. No, that would be
100%. Yeah, that'd be a first.
Yeah,
first. Whoa. Yeah.
So I don't know. It would be something else, but I would say Michigan State's a sleeper. Would you agree, Jason? I know they're your team.
I would say so. I would, especially with
because you got I'm not trying to cut you off. You got Michigan, you got Purdue. That's always they're a top team in the Big Ten. You got Illinois that's playing very well. Nebraska's out of nowhere this year. They're playing very well, but they're kind of falling off towards right now. But they can pick it back up. But usually Michigan State's like 1 or 2 in the Big Ten, and they're kind of on the outskirts looking in.
Right.
And that's a scary thing for a Tom Izzo team. But continue, Jason. Sorry for interrupting you.
This is what we kind of talked about last week was it's their inconsistency is what kills them leading up to the tournament. And then they get into this mindset, this sense of urgency where it's like, oh shit, we better do something or we're going to be on the wrong side of the cut, when they start making these brackets for March Madness. This is where Michigan State is traditionally its most dangerous. And now's the time. So yeah, they are the Cinderella team, I feel like. And it's funny to say that because of the history of that program, the legacy of Tom Izzo, but it is because of those factors that state is looked at in the light that it is right now. Because I mean, just a handful of weeks ago, we were looking at this team as a top 10 team getting ready to play Michigan. And you know, ever since that loss, shit just ain't been right. You know, they like,
not true. They did beat Purdue, and they beat Illinois. They beat Illinois, and Illinois was a top 5 team when they played them, and they went out and played their game and they won. They just have to play their game, and I think that's what they fumble on.
Well, that's right. That's
the inconsistency part. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Because they beat a top 5 team after they lost to Michigan, and they turned it around. It's like, so they can do it. They just got to put it together. Well, that's the thing.
The biggest thing is, what are they going to do in the tournament? And that's when they need to turn it on.
Well, you got the Big Ten tournament first, so you got that. So you got to worry about that first, but that does have a effect on seeding too, I believe.
For sure.
Because there are conference tournaments. There's, the SEC tournament, the Big Ten, the ACC, all that. So there's a lot of teams that are, in the conference tournaments are huge. And honestly, no one's talking about it. Miami of Ohio is still the only undefeated team in the college basketball right now.
It's because they're not a real team.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're Division I, so
it's just a.
Are they
name.
Division I?
Yeah, they're Division I.
They are Division I.
Who wants to go to Miami in Ohio?
Miami of Ohio. Ben Roethlisberger did, I believe, and he.
Yeah, but he's not a real quarterback.
Okay, he has a Super Bowl ring. He has 2.
That doesn't matter. Sam Darnold has one of those.
Oh my God.
We don't have any.
Why is he like?
Neither do we.
Why is he like?
My Chiefs have a few of them, so they got 4 of them.
Not as many as Tom Brady, though.
No, old Tom Brady.
Patrick Mahomes is going downhill anyway, so it's over.
He's not going down.
That was his last
Greatest
ring.
quarterback. No, he's going to have another
He's
one.
going down.
Shut your fucking mouth, Jake. Eric. I almost called you Jason.
Yeah, Jason, shut your fucking mouth.
Jason, keep shutting
He
your
didn't say
fucking
that.
mouth. And happy late birthday.
And congratulate me for 8 Super Bowls for the Cleveland Browns.
There you go.
Oh yeah, Vinny, you wanted to bring that up. Let's transition out of college basketball. Vinny, you wanted to bring up what happened now?
It's interesting. April of 2025. I didn't know this, obviously. The owners had a meeting, whatever, and from 1946 to the present, okay, they're going to count those championships because, like I said, back then they were just playing in their era. The Browns won from 46 all the way up to, what was it, 57, 58? In the 60s, 64. So
the Lions won 57.
Well, that was the national.
It doesn't matter. They're putting them, if you played for a championship, right?
Yeah.
They're marking it not as a Super Bowl, but equal as a Super Bowl because they're recognizing.
Not the same.
That's where the argument comes in, but that's what it is.
Same.
It's not. But think about it, Eric. Back then, they had no control.
That is true.
They had no control. What was there? 13 teams they played.
No, 100%.
Their Super Bowl was their championship, right?
Yeah.
So why do they get to take that away? Which they didn't. Now they took it away, and the stats too of those games. Now they're putting stats back in. Look it up. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
No, I believe you because you are very well-rounded about what you pay attention to and all that. But that's just like Green Bay fans are going to say, oh, you're going to take away that we won the first Super Bowl. It's going to go back all the way. No, they're not going to allow that to happen because if they would have made the Super Bowl in 57, Lions would have won the first Super Bowl. I wouldn't let them take that away from us. You know what I mean? I wouldn't let that go.
They're not taking away the Super Bowls. They just weren't counting
I'm saying that
they weren't counting the championships before the merger.
Yeah, but now they're counting them, so it's not going to be the Packers won the first Super Bowl, blah blah blah. They still will be, but teams back then are going to be trying to claim that they've won more championships. Which if it's true, then it's true. Then
right. I mean, they have. The fact is, I'm happy they got recognized because they had careers. They can control. They won their championships. They should be recognized. Okay, they were championship. Now Super Bowls, it's just called a different name. We have more teams. It's a great discussion, guys. That's what I think. You can go both sides. For my Browns, I wasn't alive to see those championships, but I watched video. Jim Brown, and Jim Brown passed away, but he deserved to be recognized for that championship and for it to count in franchise history like that on a national
That's fair.
bar there. Yeah.
We got a very
I'm not
similar
gonna-
argument, in Detroit because we had 4 championships before the modern, the switch to the Super Bowls. So Detroit has 4 championships before the merger. Same thing. I think the Browns had 8 championships before
Yep.
they merged into the NFL as what
Right.
it is today. You know what I mean? So there's an argument there because that's what they had to play for at the time when they were
Right.
teams. You know what I mean?
I'm
Is,
not
is
gonna-
it a Super Bowl? Is it a modern, Super Bowl? Did they get a big ass ring? No, you know what I mean? But at their time, you make a good point. That was their championship game. Currently, the championship game is the Super Bowl. It's the league, the 2 conferences coming together, and the best 2 teams from each conference fighting it out to find out who's the best in the country. But at the time, they didn't do that. You had the AFC, which had their championship, and you had the NFC, which had their championship, and they merged into the NFL eventually. So you can't take away championships. Jason, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, Jason. You
I,
look how they're all upset.
No, I'm just looking at what in the.
He's just mad that nobody wished him happy birthday last
I know.
week.
I'm just.
There's no need to. That's the whole. No, I don't agree with this. And
No?
that is no, I do not. I understand what they're trying to do, and I appreciate them for it. I just feel like right now we play in the era of the Super Bowl. If you want to commemorate the pre-Super Bowl World Championships in some way, have a day, have a game designated to that era of that franchise. Okay, I could get behind that. But I don't think we need to be including those stats when we're talking about I don't know, man. It's just too much of a definitive line in the time frame of the NFL of professional football. Keep the Super Bowl separated. Keep the pre-Super Bowl championships as its own thing. I don't want to say put an asterisk next to it, but I mean it wasn't the National Football League that we know now. It
was forming.
Yeah, it was very much in its infancy. There was still, AFL, NFL, and all this other shit, and it's I just don't think it needs to be included with today's Super Bowl legacy, lineage, things of that nature.
Well, I'm not going to come out and say, look, we have 8 Super Bowls. I'm not going to say that.
Well, no.
You know what I'm saying? We have
champion.
Right. We got championships, but there is argument like, okay, Jason, if you were playing in 1952 and you had a kick-ass season and they told you, Jason, it's not going to count because now we got the Super Bowl and your stats are not you're going to be fucking pissed.
Sure.
So there's both sides of the coin. I think you could play with that because Jim Brown and them, just like any athlete, he was kicking ass. He won his championships, and yes, he should be recognized for it and his stats. And Paul Brown now, he's going to have more stats added to his wins because they stopped. And I agree that those were his true stats. They should be out there. That's my argument. It wasn't the player's fault that the era that they played in. Yes, it's much bigger today on a way bigger scale. Yes, it was forming in 46. It was coming to be the National Football League. That's what it was all leading up to. But we can't ignore the past of athletes that busted their ass and then didn't get recognition for it. That's what I'm trying to say. I think there's both sides to argument, but I lean a little bit more in, yes, don't count them as Super Bowls. Count them as championships, but they have to be recognized, and the stats have to go along with it.
No, I could get behind that because at the same time you look at it, like they deserve recognition.
Sorry.
But at the same time, you would look at like if you took the best team in the AFL back then, played them against the best team in the NFL back then. You know what I mean? Like, who would win that? And that's the argument. You know what I mean? Because we never saw that until the Super Bowl era, until that merger. You know what I mean? So it's. Just, there's an argument both ways.
Right. Just like the goalpost was in the middle, and they moved it back in the day, right?
Well, I mean, you look at it like football in general. Like the whole reason why we call it football is like I was reading up on this, and like when American football started, like you couldn't throw the ball and anything. You couldn't even use your hands. Like it's crazy. You got to look at the history of football. That's why we call it football, because it was more along the lines of like soccer than what it is today. What it's turned out to be now. You know what I mean? But while we're getting on that, I know you guys are probably itching to get to the MLB, but I want to touch a few things here real quick when it comes to the NFL, and then another topic real quick before we move off. I know the NFL Combine's coming up this week, so that's pretty exciting. We're going to kind of get a look at some of these college players, see what they're doing. Also, it was announced that the whole Max Crosby shit going around, he could be traded. The Raiders are expecting that Max Crosby is going to be playing for him again next year. So it seems like they may have worked out their shit. And Taylor Decker announced that he's coming back for an 11th season next year. So news for the Lions, Taylor Decker is coming back. Some people are happy about it. Some people are not. It's a cap space thing why some people aren't happy.
Well, did you hear Dan Campbell's take on it?
No.
He's like, yeah, it's great. He's like, it's good. Taylor Decker's coming back, but we're going to have to find a guy that can still play there because we have to cater to basically catering to his injuries and all that. It's like, okay, so why don't you just, I get he's one of your guys and you want to keep him, but do what the good organizations do. Hey man, it's been great. Thanks for being here. We got cut our losses. We need that $18 million in cap. We're gonna go draft a guy. Put Panay at left.
You're still gonna want to draft a guy anyways.
Yeah,
because this is probably gonna be his last season.
Yeah, but take the money that you could use for Gibbs or Laporta or Campbell or the draft pick. You need to get cap now.
Yeah, but you might be able to restructure that contract for that last year anyway.
100%. You got to restructure contracts. You got to restructure his. You got to restructure fucking Goff's. St. Brown's. You got to restructure a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
But I'm just with how Dan Campbell said it. I'm like, I'm not happy with it. You already need a replacement.
I think so.
Don't get me wrong. He's great, but he's never gonna be 100% again. So. My opinion, bite the bullet. Hey, it's great having you for 10 years. If you want to try free agents somewhere else, that's fine. But
I don't think so. No, I'm going to tell you why. Because
you're ridiculous.
No, he's a good left tackle.
He's not going to be 100%.
He's not going to be 100%, but maybe he will.
So you got to, okay, so we're going to...
Listen to me. Before you cut me off, motherfucker. He's a good left tackle, and with all the holes that we need to fill this year, him playing one more year, I think, puts us in a good position to where I think between free agency and the draft that we can fill those holes. I still think we make a mid to late round, offensive line pick, somebody that can transition.
Your first overall pick's going to be offensive line, 100%.
That would be, and I would draft a right tackle.
Well, yeah.
And I know that sounds stupid because I think we can transition to Panay to left tackle next year.
Well, reality, if you're going to keep both your tackles, you got to kind of draft a guy that can play guard for now and that can go to a tackle position.
Any so right tackle that you draft is going to be able to play guard.
Yeah,
guard is probably the easiest position to fill.
I don't know. I don't like it.
I like it for the aspect if we can restructure that contract, it saves us from one less draft pick because I wanted 2 offensive linemen with the first top 2 picks. Mm-hmm. If he's staying, we only need 1.
Well, it also depends on.
And you could also take an edge rusher first round, not have to worry about another one, and then take an offensive lineman round 2. We don't have a 3rd round pick.
No, I know that, and I guess it depends on if Baltimore center is going to be on the market too or not.
I think Cleveland's got a couple offensive linemen.
Their offensive guard said he's not coming back.
Yeah, so I mean, Cleveland's got some offensive linemen out there on the market right now that plan on not coming back.
If you could get that guard, that'd be phenomenal. Because I think he was a very good guard.
Yeah, so I think that's what it is. But I wanted to touch on that real quick. I want to give these guys enough time to get to
Yeah,
baseball.
they can talk about their
But the other thing
MLB.
I wanted to touch on real quick, it was announced this week that Floyd Mayweather is coming out of retirement to box Manny Pacquiao September 19th on Netflix for MVP Promotions. How do we feel about a third Mayweather Pacquiao fight?
I got to pee real quick. I'm just going to say it's all about money, and that's why they're doing this.
100%.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about money. That's it. It don't matter. It's not going to be, oh, who's the greatest boxer of all time, blah blah blah,
Right.
between this rival. It's about money. They're both going in it thinking that way because they're like, man, I don't have fucking 200 million in my bank. What about you? Let's go fight for a couple
one fight.
rounds and get
Boom.
Let's go get a couple more million in our bank. We'll be good.
Yeah. No,
That's
you're
my
absolutely
opinion
right,
on it.
Eric.
That's my opinion on it. Just like Mike Tyson fighting again and all
Yep.
that crap.
Yeah.
And then Jake Paul finally fights a real fighter and gets his jaw broken. Happy that
Yep.
happened because he is a good boxer, but he got humbled for
You know
sure.
what?
Well, he fought
You know
a
what, Eric?
heavyweight when he's not a fucking heavyweight.
He looks like a heavyweight.
He's
The only one that came back, I will say, and one was George Foreman at 50.
Yes, George Foreman,
was-
100%.
He was the real deal to come
Yeah.
back. I'm saying not just for the money. He wanted a fucking fight. That's what he
Well,
wanted.
I mean, argument-wise, can we say that Floyd Mayweather's not the real deal? I mean, he's never lost. He's never lost. But the last, 10, 15 years of career, he's taken fights that, he's not going to lose. I could see Jason's winding up here. He's got something to say about this. See him itching his face. He's...
This whole thing is what happens when you don't smartly, intelligently manage your money. You find yourself in a financial downfall, and this is what you have to resort to. With as successful as Floyd Mayweather has been, and take Pacquiao out off the table for a second. You look at Floyd Money Mayweather and what he became for the sport of boxing. That dude should be set for life. His children should be set for life. His children's kids should be set for life. This is what happens when you piss your money away. There is going to be. They saw the Mike Tyson numbers here, Tim. They saw what Crawford did, Canelo and Crawford did. It's going
They
to
saw what
generate
Jake Paul's been doing.
Yeah, it's going to generate some interest, but it's not going to be, I don't think, unless they do a significant amount of hype and promotion for this. It's not going to reach those kind of numbers, I don't feel like.
You know why I disagree with you there? Because it's on Netflix. It's MVP Promotions, the same promotion that it's bringing. We brought this up last week with Ronda Rousey coming back. That's also MVP Promotions. This is all a Jake Paul thing. You know what I mean? Anything on Netflix, it's going to be huge because people don't have to pay to watch it, Jason. So you just need the viewership. People already have Netflix. So Netflix is going to spend a shit ton of money for these guys to come out here and fight, and the money's guaranteed. It's going to draw the viewership because it's a free fight. You don't have to pay $80, $90 to get it on HBO. You know what I mean? It's not a pay-per-view. It's on Netflix. So they're going to make a shit ton of money.
No, they're going to make shit ton of money, but viewership numbers, I don't think are going to be where they're thinking it's going to be. They're going to get paid. Make no mistake about it. The sponsorship money alone is going to pay their salaries for this fight. I just don't think it's going to generate the kind of numbers. And this is the other thing. Is this Mayweather's first fight on his streaming service? Because he's used to the whole pay-per-view model. Pay-per-view is no longer a thing by and large. I mean, a couple of entities still use it, like All Elite Wrestling still uses it. A couple of lower MMA organizations still utilize it. But this is going to be a different ball game, and it is because of that. Anybody who is a Floyd Mayweather fan who is foaming at the mouth at this announcement, and there's a few of them out there, make no mistake, you're not going to see the same Floyd Mayweather that you saw in 2007, 2008,
They're in
2009.
their fucking 40s and 50s now, I imagine. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the whole showmanship, the enthusiasm, the vibe. You know what I
Yep.
mean? He's there to collect a paycheck. No more, no less.
and that's what I mean. Let's be honest with each other. That's what a lot of this is turning into these days. That's the whole Mike Tyson thing coming back. You know what I mean? Like, did we see the Mike Tyson that we wanted to see in that fight against Jake Paul? Fuck no. You know what I mean? Like, but did we see, the Anthony Joshua that we wanted to see against Jake Paul? Fuck yes, we did. You know what I mean? Anthony Joshua fucked him up, and that's going to lead to eventually, matches down the road for him. This is. I mean, I look at this as the genius of Jake Paul. He's putting money fights out there that are going to get large viewership numbers. And I disagree with you on the viewership numbers. And the only reason why is because it is Netflix. If it wasn't Netflix, I'd say this wouldn't do anything. But since everybody already has Netflix, what else are they doing on a Saturday night besides watching, Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao? They're going to sit down, they're going to log into this, and they're going to watch it. Now, is it going to do Tyson numbers? Maybe not, but is it still going to do maybe 100 million? Probably, you know what I mean? Because people already have it. They don't have to pay for it. They're going to sit down and watch it. You know what I mean? Are we all going to stay up late enough to watch this fight? I'll probably catch it the next day. You know what I mean? Just
I'm too old for that shit.
Like,
not happening.
Yeah.
I try, you know what I mean? The last Jake Paul fight we stayed up for because I didn't have to work the next day. But the one that before that,
Oh, yeah, we tried. We couldn't. We made it till like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we made it till 10 o'clock. We were like, Eric left the house. We went to bed. You know what I mean? It was
I was
too late.
falling asleep in your chair. I was done.
They need to start this shit way earlier in the day so that main event fight comes on at 8 o'clock. That would bring them higher viewers.
Just like you need to make every NFL Monday night and Sunday night game 7 o'clock.
Oh yeah, so that way you're done by 10.
Don't put it to 8. Put it to 7 because then everyone can watch the game. I bet your viewers would go. I bet it would go up.
My old ass has a trouble staying up till 11:30 at night these days.
I don't have.
I am too fucking old, and I know Jason feels that too after celebrating another birthday this past week. But like, it's it's
happy birthday, Jason. Late birthday. I'm
Fuck
sorry.
off, Eric.
I love you.
Fuck off.
Oh, I love giving you shit, and you know why I'm giving you so much shit right now?
Well, let's talk about the Tigers.
All honesty, I'm celebrating a birthday this coming up weekend, so my old ass is getting older. But
There you go.
but yeah, I think this is going to do huge numbers. It's a big thing for Netflix and boxing. It's going to be huge. It is a money grab by both of these fighters. Neither one of these guys have fought in ages. You know what I mean? Do we expect a show? Probably not. It's going to be more of an exhibition. They're just going there to make money. You know what I mean? Yeah. But usually on these fights, if you really want to watch the show, watch the undercards. The undercards are where the show's really at. And you can kind of see these up and coming boxers. And we've seen that on these previous fights. Some of these undercard fights are fucking amazing. And the main events just fall flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
You're right.
But leading to that, Jason.
What about these Tigers? How do you feel about spring
MLB
training?
Time.
How do you feel about that 3-20 loss to the New York Yankees, our first game of the year?
Well, listen.
You have the floor, Clouse of the Jason.
I don't put a lot of stock into it. I saw that score and I was like, damn, that's that's ugly. But I also look at it for what it is. It is game 1 of spring training.
Fair enough.
And I do not put any stock whatsoever in the results of these games. These teams are trying to listen. Last year, Eric, the Colorado Rockies were the best team in baseball in spring training.
Okay.
Then we get to the show and we saw what happened. They were
that's just like in 08 when the Lions went 4-0 in preseason, then went 0-16 in the regular season.
Right. So while I do pay attention and I will watch the highlights, I will watch the games as I can. It is only to see who's doing what. I do not put any stock into the end result whatsoever. I don't give a fuck about spring training championships and grapefruit league champions and cactus league champions. None of that bullshit matters. What matters is who is holding the World Series trophy in fucking November. That's what it all comes down to, and it starts here. I have made no bones about the fact Detroit Tigers are my team, but I also, I'm all about the Rockies and I'm all about the Chicago Cubs. Vinny, you are a Mets fan. Um, as we come into spring training here, how do you feel about spring training? Do you pay a lot of attention to what's going on and how much stock do you put in to these
I,
games?
I'm with you. I don't look for the score. I will watch a preseason game, a spring training, and I want to see what product we're putting out there. I want to see the farm team, what they produced, who is going to be in what position if someone goes down, right? Right, Jay? Like,
Right.
who's the next up online? I want to see um, what up and coming stars are going to join the team, not just that fundamental stuff, work on the fundamentals. The score, like Jason says, you know what? It doesn't mean anything. These guys are pitching what, 2 innings, and then you got another pitcher. They're just getting loose, and we're just at the beginning. We're just at the beginning. Near the end, you see more pitchers throw more and more, a little bit more to warm up for the regular season. And like Jason said, once that's done, you're to the regular season. This is for everything. What you're playing for. It's a marathon, but you get a general feeling in spring training what you have. And for another answer, what I'm feeling with the Mets, it's not this year. It's not this year. We're letting a lot of pieces go. Jay, that's how I feel. I don't think we're even going to make the playoffs this year. I really
No?
don't think. No.
Damn, Vinny, that's a bold prediction, brother.
It is, but I know my Mets. I've read this book 100 times. Where they shoot off like a rocket, right? And then right around June, July, bang. How many times we've seen that from my Mets? Be honest. They have either they're on top at the All-Star break, right? And then after the All-Star break, they're in third place. I've seen it too many times. I don't like the way they let Nimmo go. Diaz, I didn't care, to be honest. He's a good closer, but you can find a closer basically anywhere. Give me someone decent. Look what they picked up. Kimball. That's what everything's got to tell you. Craig Kimball. Really? That's when I see moves like that, Jason. That's what tells me what they're trying to put out there for this year. I think this is an off year for the Mets. They're trying to build, they do have a good farm. I will say that. They have a good farm team. But they let too many pieces go. That's my thing. And I think it's more of a rebuilding. He wants to put a product out there that's good, but I think it's more of a rebuilding year to me. That's how I look at it.
This is coming after a season that saw a pretty epic and startling collapse by the New York Mets that just had everybody shaking their head. I am not now, as far as the New York teams go, I will not, under any circumstances whatsoever, root for the New York Yankees. Though they are the evil empire. In
Thank
my
you.
view, I cheered for them one time, Vinny. They let me, and it was during a national tragedy that I cheered for them. 9/11, and they
9/11.
wound up losing to fucking Arizona in the World Series. I'm like, never again, never again.
You know what,
But
Jason?
it's how.
You're better than me. I wanted them to lose, even in that
Is
tragedy.
that right?
That's how bad I hate the fucking Yankees. You know what? I'm just telling you the God honest truth. I know what was on the line, and when Gonzalez hit that freaking single, I was jumping, bro. I was like, hell yeah, because where I grow up, there's all Yankee fans, right?
Sure.
They're always Mets, bash, bash, bash. No, Jason, I'm with you. I will root for any other team. I will never, ever. I don't care. The Yankees, nope. Goodbye. That's it.
Well, we talk about controversy, especially with the way the Mets season landed last year. Let's talk about some pretty big headlines that's emerging It seemingly day by day, more and more details after this was kind of hushed last week. It just happened to come across my radar. I actually put out a special TikTok where I sent it over to Tim because he handles the TikTok portion of our presentation here. But Tony Clark, one-time former Detroit Tiger and the executive director for the MLB Players Association, resigned amid a federal investigation and then the revelation of an alleged illicit affair with another employee of the MLB union's organization that happens to be his sister-in-law. And you really can't make this shit up if I'm being honest with you. It's embarrassing on so many fronts here, but he was he was a subject of a federal investigation for financial irregularities. Then it came out that the sister-in-law, who was hired in 2023, and he had engaged in an inappropriate relationship.
Yep.
Amid all of this, the Players Association unanimously voted in Bruce Meyer as interim executive director.
Right.
This is where it gets real tricky. And the current collective bargaining agreement for MLB, Players Association, and the owners expires on December 1st of this year. And with this shakeup right now at the very top of the union side of things, this has the potential to cause some real ripple effects as negotiations are going to start ramping up here in the coming months. Because the last thing that we need, Vinny and Tim and Eric, is another lockout for Major League Baseball.
Unfortunately, I think that's where we're headed.
You think so?
I think so. I've been reading, like you said, I've been doing this. You know, Jason, when something happens at that time, as it did, when you're in the season's about to start, Tony Clark's been the union rep and all that for how many years, and you got, like you said, you got contracts coming up to sign. You got this, you got that, and I just don't see them doing all that stuff in that short amount of time to please the players at the same time, their own union and the owners. That's the friction that's going to start, I think, and I think it's leading to a lockout. I hope not. I hope to God not. But what I'm feeling is almost what, the 94 lockout? Was that 94? That's what I'm feeling, Jason. I'm feeling the 94 lockout because it happened at this time. If this happened in September, right, we would have been okay. The fact that it happened last week, which is February, which is a month away from the season, is damaging. You got to think of, now they're really behind, like you said. Now they're scratching for shit, okay? Contracts, extensions, this, that. How do you do that? Jason, how do you do that when you're starting? You didn't even start the season yet. You're in spring training. That's my big thing. How does that come off? It's a big strike to baseball. Like I made that video. I said, baseball was climbing back on top, right? We're getting that game right where it's supposed to be, and then you get this son of a bitch to do this, and it puts a stain on the game. I mean, they were doing it right in the stadium, in their offices, okay?
Right.
So that puts a stain on it. That puts a stain on even the Players Association. So right now, MLB does not have a good look. And I hope I'm wrong, like I said, but my opinion is I think we're headed for some bigger news like a lockout. Unfortunately, that's what I think. I hope I'm wrong.
I feel like we're just scratching the surface with the Tony Clark portion of this. I feel like there's something else that is and the players union is doing everything it can to keep something under wraps, because a little bit more and more keeps getting released or put out to the public. And you're absolutely right. This could not happen at a worse time right now. Eric, we have, we've talked about baseball's popularity here in America. And, Vinny alluded to the 94 lockout, which ultimately was the first time that a season did not have a World Series. And it took a good 4 years for baseball to rebound. And the only reason why it rebounded, in my view, was the home run thing.
Sammy Sosa.
And Sammy Sosa. If MLB is to go on lockdown this time around, does it have a chance in hell of rebounding again?
My opinion, I think you got to put it. If the lockout happens, there's got to be a cap in place, and I think that's what a lot of people are upset about, because you have the Dodgers, you have the New Yorks, you have all the big market teams like we've talked about multiple times that can just throw money at players. That's what people are sick of. That's why, the Dodgers are on the chance of, three-peating if there's no lockout. Does anyone want to see the Dodgers three-peat? No, I don't want to see it. I want to see something else. I want to see something different, and
Eric, you nailed it there. The Dodgers caused this. Really caused exactly what I was going to say next. Baseball does need a damn cap. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It does. You can't just pay the one player from the Dodgers, Yomahomo, whatever that his name is.
Or are you talking about Ohtani?
Like
$700 million contract?
Yeah, right. Like, come on. Like, how can you just throw, like, anyone from any part of the world that's good at a sport sees that number, they're signing it. They don't care. Right. I'll go play for you for 10 years for that, or 12 years for that. Yeah, okay. I'll give 12 years of my life to never have to work again. Play, and play something you love. And yeah, like, come on, you need a cap. That's ridiculous.
Why professionals are trying to cure cancer and stuff, these guys are making 10 times the amount of money that the scientists are getting.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of people
are on the
pissed.
whole cancer thing and all that, because I have a theory on that, but we'll talk about that a different time. But yeah, you shouldn't be able to make that much money just to play a damn sport. When you have, like you said, trying to cure cancer, but you also have, ladies and gentlemen in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines risking their lives to keep us free. They're not making that. And they could die tomorrow. And they, with everything going on too. Not trying to get politics in this. That's just my opinion. But
they're not even getting paid.
You need a cap. You need a cap for it, because I get the Dodgers did their whole TV deal. They have other ways to pay their players, and they just can throw money at them. It's ridiculous. Same with New York. Same, just like Jason said, all the big market teams, they can just throw money at them. That's like, I'm upset that the Tigers lost to Seattle, but it was cool to Seattle almost in the World Series, because they've never been there.
Right.
That would have been cool to see them there, and I think they would have had a really good chance if they made it. And just like the Blue Jays made it. I've never seen them in the World Series or have paid attention to it. Pardon me, but I think if baseball is going to bounce back, you got to put a cap in place.
Yep. I agree,
because that's going to make it. Every other sport has a cap, and that one doesn't. It's ridiculous.
It's going to make it even, Eric.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to make it even more competitive, because you're going to get the Pittsburgh Pirates back up, right?
Yep.
You're going to start to get the Royals back up. And that's what we want to see. Like you said, I don't want to keep seeing the Dodgers and everything.
What would bring it back is how the Cubs won in 2016. You need a team that has not won it in so long to win it, to bring it back. Because I know people.
Tigers.
The Tigers hasn't won in a long time.
84 was the last time.
Exactly. So, but I'm just saying, like, I had people in Michigan that had, Cub shirts and all that, they're fans of the Cubs. Yeah, they're fans of the Cubs, and that's great. Jason, they are a staple baseball team. And I think of Chicago. I don't think of the White Sox. I don't think of, any other team there. I think of the Chicago Cubs as a baseball team. I'm like, that's the staple right there.
Exactly.
But if there's going to be a lockout to bring baseball back, you got to have a cap.
Yep.
That's where to start it, because then everyone's even, everyone has a chance to win it, and you just can't throw money at them. Just like, our great
But
fellow
then
Zach
again-
and all that, so all they'll just have Little Caesars, blah blah blah, throw the money at them. No, that's not the point. It's just not the point. Just throw money at people. We're not that way.
No,
we're not the LAs. We're not the New Yorks.
And they
we're,
can
we're,
afford it. Small
Yeah,
market compared to large market.
Exactly.
And it's not
I think
fair.
And like
Detroit's.
Jason said-
I think Detroit's a medium market. We're
Well,
a
yeah,
good
it's-
sports
it's
team,
medium market,
sports
but-
town, and all that, and we show up for our teams. But yeah, it's not the Dodgers where you just have fucking unlimited money. It's ridiculous.
Right.
No, 100.
And nobody should have that kind of power like that.
No, not at all.
No.
Baseball's a money game.
Yes.
The teams with the most money are going to win more often than the teams with less money. It's a money game because you can draw as much talent as you want. Dodgers are proving it right now, and I am hoping that there's no lockout because right now we're looking at a Tigers team with the two best left-handed pitchers
Absolutely.
in baseball. We're looking at a very solid team that went deep into the playoffs last year. And this is probably our last year with Scooble. I mean, we've talked about this a million times.
I don't know. There's pictures of Chris Illich and Scooble talking in spring training. Are they going to seal?
They could be talking about that.
They could
It's
be
not
stealing
so
the
much
deal.
on. I don't think it has anything to do with Scooble. I think it's got to do with his asshole fucking agent. You know what I mean?
Well, I
That's
think
pushing
that's
for
the whole
him,
thing
and
of,
that's where
like,
he's going to end up.
You went to the horde. You went to the sort. Scooble. You went from Scooble to owner. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. They might be able to talk, but
Yeah,
hey, what
but
do you really
that-
feel?
that doesn't
Let's not
matter.
get your fucking agent involved. How you feeling, Scooble?
But
What
that's
do you
not the
want?
way that sports works, unfortunately.
I understand that,
You know what
but
I
you
mean?
build a
Like-
relationship.
Scott
and all that.
Boris.
Yeah.
Like Scott Boris. He's the
Well, that's
biggest.
Scott Boris. Yeah, that's Scooble's agent.
That's
you know
Scooble's
what I mean?
agent, and
Yeah.
he wants every penny.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Scuba's going to end up whoever pays the most money. So a lockout could work out. If we're talking about putting a cap on, it could work out in the Tigers' benefit when it comes to Scooble because nobody is worth as much money as what he's asking, unfortunately, especially with two Tommy Johns already. We've talked about this with fucking Zach a million times, and Zach's just like, sign him for fucking $1 billion in 30 years. You know what I mean? You'll pay him to fuck all that. You know what I mean? Like it's not worth it in that aspect. But I'm hoping for not a lockout because we have a good team going right now. And I want to see this year. You know what I mean? If a lockout happens and it leads to a cap, that could benefit the entirety of the MLB. You know what I mean? Will it lead to that? I am not 100% sure. MLB is one that I think is going to resist putting a cap on compared to you don't want to get as stringent as the NHL. NHL has a hell of a cap. You know what I mean? Like these players don't get paid shit, but they play their asses off and they play, a shit ton of games a year, and I also think the NBA is also another one that probably needs a cap eventually down the line. But I don't want to see a lockout myself personally, but I do agree with you guys. I think it might be leading in that direction, especially with the whole Tony Clark going on, because we don't even know what's going on with that entirely. Right. You know what I mean? And what's going to be the downfall of them, putting a new head of that department in that, is that going to lead to a lockout also?
That's right.
And there's a lot going on there.
Jason made a great point. We had Sammy Sosa the home run after the lockout. What do we have? God forbid we do have a lockout. We don't have really nothing to go on, right, guys? I mean,
we got a three-peat Cy Young winner, Tarek Skubal.
You got, like you said, you got to get a team that has not won it in a while to bring back the love of the game. You got to have someone that hasn't won it in 25 plus years. Just like the Cubs ended their drought in 106 years. Jason, it was 102.
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
Okay, so I was right about that. So you're gonna need something like that to bring back the love of the game for all the fans. That's what you're gonna need.
And how long is it gonna take? Right?
After say you get a lockout, it took the Cubs 106 years.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I agree with you. You need a team that has not won the World Series
in a long time.
In a long time, and that would spark it. That would get it going back again. Absolutely.
Yep. 100%. And
I agree with you.
But Jason, did you ever get to look up what I brought up last week about Flores and the pitcher?
I did. Yes. And
it looks like Vinny's curious about this too. It didn't look like he knew about it. So but go ahead, Jason.
Valdez, not Flores.
Valdez, my bad. Same thing.
I knew who you were talking about. Yeah. It very much looked like an intentional beating. Kind like I said, I had not seen the footage, but if that was intentional, and I said last week, I was like, man, you got to curb this shit right fucking now,
Yep.
because it's going to be something like that that's going to derail the momentum. Now, I do want to clarify real quick. There is going to be a 2026 season in its entirety. The CBA expires on December 1st of this year. So if there was going to be a lockout, it is
It'd be
going to be
2027.
2027.
27.
My issue is with such a shakeup at the top of the players union, like they're not going into the negotiations with this with a rock solid foundation that they need, and the owners at this point have the advantage
Yep.
because there's such a there's shaky ground right now. Now this Bruce Myers, it was unanimously voted in by the players association, so he's respected, he's known, they put him in charge for a reason. But from the owner's standpoint, when you have a shakeup at that level, at this stage, they're going to feed on every single crack in that
Yep.
foundation. And that's what I'm worried about. That's why I'm worried that there could be some sort of work stoppage. Now, if it reduces spring training and we can still maintain a regular season in its entirety, what the fuck ever. I don't care about that.
Yep.
But it is going to come down to salary cap, and that is going to be a very sticky situation when that starts to come up. That all these different rights and royalties, now that we're getting more corporate sponsorship involved in baseball, and video games and licensing and merchandising and all this stuff is at an all-time high. There's going to be a lot of things with the CBA negotiations that, I mean, shit. I wish I could be a fly on the wall just to
Right.
listen to all this shit, because we're talking billions of dollars.
Oh my gosh. They were even, Jason, I don't know if you heard, they were even with Tony Clark, which got screwed up, of course, because of what he did. They said even about Little League Baseball got stopped with the sponsorship. I guess they sponsored the Little Leaguers and stuff like that. You heard that, right? Something got stopped because I guess the players union under Tony Clark would do this. Now he fucked up, and now the kids got to pay the price.
Right. No, it's one of those deals like NFL, like in your community, the NFL will sponsor a flag football league, much like what you're talking about. MLB did have a little league program along those lines, and I heard that they either pulled all of the funding and sponsorship, or a significant portion of it.
Yeah,
And that's the
terrible.
business. Yeah,
That's the business. Yeah,
that fucks everything up.
Yeah, and like you said, Jason, the owners have a huge advantage right now.
Huge, mentally too.
Mentally too, absolutely. They can implement basically anything they want, and it has to be negotiated. And they got the upper hand. They got the money. So this is going to be very, very interesting what they do.
Stay tuned, as they say.
Part 2 coming.
We're just getting started. Tim, do you have a golf report for this week?
I may or may no, I definitely do.
Oh, play the music. I like it.
This is Tim's 2 Minutes Golf Report, brought to you by the Sports Reel Podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network. This past week we had the Genesis Invitational. Bridgman won at 18 under. We had 2 tie for second. We had Kitayama and McElroy. Rory made his, a good run this week, and they both finished at 17 under. Then we had, I can't read. Oh, we had Adam Scott at 16 under at 4th. In 5th place, we had Potgieter at 15 under. 6th, we had Knapp at 13 under. Then we had a 5-way tie for 7th. We had Cam the Hammer Young, the big dick swinging Cam Young, Gotta get that thing out there. I mean, it's impressive. He finished at 13 under alongside Morikawa, Fleetwood, Fox, and Schauffele. And then I had to throw Scotty Scheffler in this thing because after day 2, he almost missed the cut. But in Scotty fashion, he worked his way back up to 12th at 11 under. Like, he almost missed a cut, and then he came back up and finished at 12th place. Next week, we're looking forward to the Cognizant Classic, which will mark the return of Brooks Koepka to the PGA Tour. Let's see how he finishes out there. Other than that, that is Tim's 2 minutes of golf talk on the PFC Entertainment Network Sports World Podcast. Brought to you by the PFC Entertainment Network. What was my time?
120.
Oh, 120. I'm getting like I didn't have a full 2 minutes this week. Damn,
You're
like,
getting
I should have just kept on rolling that
thing.
thing.
Slowed down.
I try to fit it into that 2 minutes, and sometimes it fits, sometimes it doesn't. We're gonna have some longer shows coming up here pretty soon because, you know, we're getting closer to April, and April marks the Masters, so we're gonna have some longer golf segments coming up. But before I move on from that, I got to do some programming notes. Next week, joining the show, we got Matt from Lips, Puck, and Chirps joining the show. It's going to be a big hockey show that we got coming up. He does a bunch of hockey content on not only TikTok, but YouTube. You can find him at Lips, Puck, and Chirps on, I think it's actually Lips 1994 on YouTube and on TikTok, Facebook, whatnot. So we're pretty excited to have him on the show. Other than that, I wanted to give one more plug that on March 31st, we got Vinny coming back to the show, joining us live, but we also have Cody from Catching Up with Cody joining us in the studio. So we're going to be doing a 3-way mashup between the Sports Reel, Just Another Sports Fan, and Catching Up with Cody, all on one show on March 31st. So we're looking forward to that. Yes,
Yep.
All-Star. That's going to be a great
awesome.
show. And shout out to the people who joined us in with us today. We had an issue on Facebook, and apparently it didn't let people know that we were live. So nobody knows that we're even live right now. So the people who did join us, we appreciate you all. Other than that, Jason, if you want to plug our store one more time before you lead us out, because that store is fucking awesome.
Well, thank you for that. I do appreciate that. But here's the thing. We've been doing this show in this format for over a year. It is within the 6 o'clock hour on every Tuesday that we do this fine program. Again, it's the reason why Tuesdays were invented. So if nobody knew to tune in at this time on a Tuesday, that's on them, man.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you 100% there.
Like, what the fuck are we doing right now?
We had some movement on YouTube this week, but on Facebook, unless people apparently get that notification, which I wasn't telling them that we were live, because even when you go to our page, I wasn't showing we were live unless you clicked on the page. You know what I mean? It was like, it was hard to say. So like the people that did join us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's 100% Facebook's.
Fucking
Like,
Facebook.
I don't know what's going on with Facebook. Fuck Facebook for today.
Yeah. TikTok and YouTube.
Well, TikTok.
Yeah. Real quick, I had 2 other quick MLB notes. Real quick, Chris Sale set a Atlanta Braves record this week by signing a 1-year, $27 million extension with the Atlanta Braves, the biggest 1-year contract in that team's history. And then the season opener for the Detroit Tigers, I just got a question earlier this afternoon. The season opener is on March the 26th in San Diego. So they will be playing the Padres for a 3-game set to open up the regular season.
And Scuba will be on the mound.
Yes, he will. Yep.
That was March 26th, Jason?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. And with that, be sure to check out the online store, all things Sports Reel Podcast, pfcsportsreel.printify.me. You can get, this is just a sample.
Why am I holding sandals?
Because you're the sandal guy.
I'm just realizing.
I love it.
Why the fuck am I holding sandals? Whatever.
I love it, guys. love it.
we offer sports reel sandals, and you are showcasing.
I should have the original 6 one on. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, I agree, and I tried to get that swap, but it wouldn't let me swap it.
Fair enough. It is what it is.
I'll
hold sandals.
It's a great graphic, man. I fucking love it.
I love it. I just saw it a few days ago. I was like, this is freaking awesome, man. You guys are doing great. The merch, I love it. I love it.
The merch is amazing. That new shirt is amazing with all that photo on there, and then with the thing. Can you bring up our page real quick before we log off?
Let me do that. Yeah,
because I don't think Eric's seen the new shirt yet. Because I'm gonna have to get this shirt.
I was just gonna say I gotta get a shirt.
This new shirt, and it is mostly because Eric doesn't understand where you get why Tuesdays are made. The comment, like, this shirt's badass.
All right.
Let's bring up that store before we get off here. We got a couple minutes, so we can spare to show all of our awesome fans.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So now let's go to the back of that shirt.
The real reason why Tuesdays were invented.
Love it.
Fuck yeah.
Love it.
I am digging that shirt 100%.
It's a legit shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna have to get me one of those ones.
Besides me holding sandals, but it's a legit shirt.
Dude, you're the sandal guy.
I've realized.
And all different
I
colors.
should be the
Just
original.
shut the fuck up and
I
accept
should
the
be the
fact
original
that
6
no,
guy.
I'm the original 6 guy.
They don't have hats. They don't have. Shut up, hat boy.
I'm digging the shit. Just own your sandals. You're gonna have to buy a pair of those sandals. They're pretty cheap, dude. You can buy a pair. You can rock them all summer long.
And I like you guys have the options too for the colors and everything too. Awesome.
Oh yeah, some of them have a lot of options. Some of them don't. It all depends on what the design looks like.
Oh.
But there's hats, there's mugs, there's flasks, there's flags, there's shorts, there's basketball jerseys are coming here in a couple of weeks. Baseball jerseys are up there right now. So yeah, all things Sports Reel podcast, pfcsportsreel.printify.me. As a programming note for my wrestling fans, we will be live on ONTV this Friday night at 6 p.m. for the Fatal 4-Way. We are going to be doing a preview of the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event, setting up the road to WrestleMania. We are also going to be looking at some news that kind of accidentally got leaked out in terms of the ownership for AEW. We're going to be breaking all of this down this Friday night live on ONTV. Just look for OrientONTV.org over on Facebook and YouTube. With that, go out, be awesome to yourselves and to each other. Oh, wait, Vinny, tell them where they can find you up, man.
All right, on TikTok, it's at dog DOWGC4, and on YouTube, it's dog DOWGC521. So follow me and follow these guys. Like I said, they're awesome. Just a great group of guys, and I am getting merch, guys. Believe me, I'm getting some merch.
We appreciate you, brother.
Check Vinny out. Like and subscribe to his stuff. Like and subscribe and share ours. We certainly appreciate everybody who tuned in with us live tonight, and those who are tuning in on the RSS feed on demand. Go out this week. Be awesome to yourselves and to each other. We'll see you next week right here on the Sports Reel podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Go Pistons! Go Red Wings! And God bless the USA and the USA hockey teams! Let's